My beloved child, I understand every hurried breath in the course of your daily life. I know how your heart spins between worries, responsibilities, and longings. Yet even in the midst of that restless flow, I earnestly call you to pause, to set aside every burden for a moment, and to make room for my sacred presence. When you are racing after work, when you are immersed in relationships, when your mind is consumed by earthly goals, you unintentionally place your loyalty beneath the deeper call that comes from above. I know it is not your intent to abandon me, but when you allow yourself to neglect the connection with me, you not only lose the chance to receive the endless grace I pour out through my word, but also open the door for the enemy's dark schemes, doubts, fears, and temptations that slip into your mind, clouding the love and peace I long to give you. Recognize that you are not only missing a vital moment of stillness, but also facing the deeper consequences of losing peace with me. Your soul grows dry, your eyes lose the light of hope, and you easily stumble before trials that may seem small but carry enough weight to topple you if your faith is not firm. Do you know that every word from my mouth is a lamp to guide your steps, a torch to warm you in the night, a living stream that washes away the weariness of your soul? When you set aside time to listen, you are not only allowing your spirit to be renewed, but also stirring the strength of the Spirit within you so that you may sense my boundless power at work in your life. Therefore, in the midst of work and the weight of daily pressures, seek out moments of stillness. It may be a quiet minute in the corner of your room, closing your eyes, breathing deeply, and placing every burden into my hands. It may be when you wander through the green fields, letting the wind and the scent of the earth become a backdrop for my presence. It may be when you open the scriptures, letting each word and line breathe life and rekindle hope in your heart. These are the sweet moments when you allow yourself to stop rushing and realize that I am always with you, not only in your joys, but also in your struggles and trials. Remember, your life is not held only in your own hands, but is also sustained and guided by my loving hand. When you choose to prioritize time with me, your soul will be lit with light, your path will be made clear, and the decisions you face will no longer be uncertain, for my voice will resound within you. Do not let the noise of the world drown out my tender whisper from the sacred stronghold. Do not let fleeting pursuits harden your heart, so that when suffering comes, only then do you remember me as a traveler clutching a compass only after having lost his way. Let every dawn become an opportunity for you to place your hand upon your chest, breathe deeply, and whisper, Lord, today I choose to walk in your word. I dedicate this very moment to you. And let every sunset be the time you give thanks. I am grateful, Lord, for being with me, for guiding me through this day. By such steadfastness, you will come to experience deeply that the spiritual life is never separate from reality, but rather the very source that nourishes every aspect of your existence. And when you decide to pause, to kneel, or simply to place a chair facing the altar, open your heart as though opening a door for grace to pour in. Tell me of the worries you are hiding within your soul, the dreams you are cherishing, and even the disappointments you have not yet dared to reveal. I do not wish for you to conceal anything, for it is precisely in sincerity and humility that you will discover new life. It is in the very moment you tear away the mask of falsehood that you encounter your true face before me, fully loved and encouraged to move forward. Do not forget, when you are united with me, you are never alone. I fill your mind with the light of wisdom so that you may discern what is essential from what is trivial. I uphold you through every turning point so that you need not fear unforeseen events. I console you when you stumble so that you may rise again with courage. My presence is the very atmosphere in which your soul lives and breathes. Therefore, be brave enough to cast away every burden, every self-reproach, or the feeling of being unworthy. I do not demand perfection from you, only faithfulness. Each time you forget, I still await your return, like the father who longs for his prodigal child, arms open wide in forgiveness. And in that very moment you will feel my boundless love and perfect mercy embracing you completely. Allow yourself to be immersed in prayer, in devotion, in moments of grateful silence, so that you do not merely hear but truly feel each word as though it were your very breath. In this way, you will come to realize that the spiritual life is not a dry sequence of rituals, but a living dialogue filled with emotion, a communion where you and I share joy, sorrow, longing, and hope together. Tomorrow, when you step out into the world, do so with the heart of a victor, not because you are stronger, but because I walk with you. Do not be anxious about what has not yet come. Do not fear the timing that has not yet ripened. Trust that when you choose to remain in my presence, you are choosing to walk firmly in love, to shine like a flame that can never be extinguished. My beloved child, know that your soul is truly strong only when it is steeped in my presence. Even when your body grows weary, even when your heart bends under the weight of long days, I remain the unfailing source of nourishment. What I speak to you is not mere words of fleeting comfort or casual advice meant to soothe for a moment. No, my word is life itself. It is the very source by which heaven and earth were created, the breath that revives withered souls. When you let my words soak into you, there will be no barren ground within your spirit that can remain closed. I pour out the living water into places unseen by human eyes, into the cracks you once hid away, and into the shadows that only I can touch. Remember this: even a single whispered prayer, a single breath lifted to me in silence, is enough to open a channel of communion between you and the heavens. You may think you are doing nothing of great importance, yet in that very moment I pour my fullness into your life. Every upward glance, every time you softly call upon my name, becomes the key that unlocks the treasury of blessings I have prepared for you. You are not sustained by your own limited strength, for your strength will soon run dry and your resolve will easily falter, but you are upheld, renewed, and made steadfast each day through intimate communion with me. My child, you may be able to move forward without me. You may manage on your own, relying on your intellect, your skills, and your resilience. But you will only be like a lamp running out of oil, shining faintly for a moment, then slowly fading away. You may survive, but you will never truly flourish. You were created to live in fullness, to dwell in the abundant stream of life that I give. You were made not merely to drag yourself through each day, but to walk in wholeness, to carry my glory to the ends of the earth, and to bear witness to my power. Think of a tree planted by a flowing stream. It is not flourishing because the soil around it is richer, nor because the climate is more favorable, but because its roots are deep in the source where the waters never cease to flow. In the same way, when your soul is rooted in me, you will not wither in the desert of life. You will not collapse in seasons of drought, nor be swept away when storms arise. Instead, you will bear fruit in its season. You will provide shade for the weary who come near, and you will stand as living proof that I am the very source of life. Do not settle for mere existence. I did not create you just to breathe, to work, and then to watch the days slip by. I formed you for a higher purpose. Within you lies the seed of glory, the potential I planted in you from the dawn of creation. But that seed can only sprout and grow when it is nourished by the waters that flow from me. If you live only for what your eyes can see, you will easily be satisfied with little content with a life that is just enough to get by. But my child, you are called to a greater life, an extraordinary life marked by heaven itself, a life through which the world will see and know me. Therefore, my child, return to the source. Seek me not only when you are parched and weary, but also when you are full and satisfied. Let me be the stream that never stops flowing within you. You do not need to strive to prove yourself, nor live in fear that you are not enough. All you need is to rest under my shadow, to drink deeply of the waters I provide, and I, myself, will do the rest. I will turn your dry seasons into showers of blessing. I will transform the seeds you have sown in tears into a harvest overflowing with joy. You were made for more than survival. You were created to reflect my glory, to become a song of life, to spread my light into places of darkness. And when you abide in me, that life will overflow from within you, touching your family, your friends, and even those you have never met. That is why I have called you not simply to exist, but to thrive, to live a life of fullness in me, and to walk in the calling I placed upon you from the very beginning. I long to walk with you through every corner of your mind, to be silently present in each of your quiet moments, to bestow upon you a divine strength in your hidden battles, and to erupt with you in the joy of victory. I do not draw near as if burdened by a heavy duty, but I choose to be the safest imprint in your life, a harbor where you may pause, breathe, and discover true peace. I invite you to sit beside me not because I am lacking, but because my heart is never filled with enough love for you. I long to hear your whispers about the smallest things, your secret hopes, your daily worries, your unspoken desires, so that I may touch the depths of your soul and soothe every hidden wound. Imagine that every time you open your heart in conversation with me, you are stepping onto the dance floor of grace where each of your prayers rises like a melody that makes the heavens resound. You need not dress your words in ornate beauty, nor cloak them in grandeur or solemn ritual. I only ask that you come with sincerity. In return, I will answer with the steadfastness of my presence, with the warmth of unconditional love. And even when you choose silence, I remain listening to the rhythm of your heartbeat, to the cadence of your breath in the stillness of the night. Then when your voice rises, I respond with the gentleness of a quiet breeze, that you may hear my whisper within the chambers of your heart. I want to remind you that in every struggle, whether it be the knots of the mind, the creeping doubts, or the subtle temptations that seem small but can shake your steps, you are never alone. I am ready to place in your hands the sword of wisdom, to discern right from wrong, the shield of steadfast faith, to withstand strife, and the garment of righteousness to guard your heart from bitter wounds. In the very moments when you fight to calm your anxieties, you will see how my hands have been upholding you, how when you stumbled I gathered you into my embrace, and when you were lost in confusion I showed you the bright path before your feet. And what greater joy is there than to celebrate with you in moments of triumph, when gladness wells up within you, whether it is the rising after defeat or the peace found in the midst of storms. I too dance with you, lifting up a song of praise like parents rejoicing to see their child surpass their own limits. Your joy is my joy. Your smile is the proof of the grace I pour out, and the peace blooming in your heart is the unshakable assurance that I have never abandoned you along the way. I do not want you to feel as though you must obey a dry list of commandments, nor do I wish your prayers to be offered merely as a duty to be fulfilled. Instead, I invite you to see every conversation with me as a cool drink of water at midday, as a sudden shower falling upon a parched field, as a candle illuminating the path in the night. You do not come to me because you are compelled, but because you know that only in me will you find the answer to every question, the firm foundation for every longing, and the perfect comfort for every sorrow. Let your soul become a living altar where every thought of me turns into praise, and where every yearning you entrust is answered with the fullness of grace. I want you to carry my image with you, not as some distant concept, but as a close companion, a merciful father, a trustworthy brother, into each moment of your day. When you awaken, let me be the chime that heralds new hope. When you face decisions, let me be the light that clarifies the crossroads. When you falter, let me be the hand that lifts you up. When you delight in joy, let me be the breath of gladness rising to the heavens. Through every stage of life, when you are still a wide-eyed child, when you enter the brilliance of youth, when you step toward maturity, and when you feel the subtle touch of age, I remain unchanged, still smiling tenderly, still watching each of your steps. You may forget me amid the busyness of life, you may neglect the sacred bond between us, but I will never forget you. You may drift far away, yet my heart waits patiently for your return. Therefore, whenever you feel lonely in the midst of a crowd, whenever you hear the sigh of weariness within you, whenever you wonder if your inner dialogue still matters, remember that I am seated beside you, ready to listen. You need only whisper, "Father, I need you," and the holy wind will caress your soul, and my voice will resound clearly. I am here, my beloved. Let your life become a continuous stream of communion with me, not only when you kneel to pray, but also when you walk, when you labor, when you love, when you laugh and weep, when you teach your children, when you drive, when you savor the prey. Sunrise, when you gaze at the stars. At every moment, in every place, You may offer a prayer you may hear, my reply. You may experience the eternal love that enfolds you. And then one day, not far from now, when you step through the final doorway of this life, you will have no regrets for having missed any moment by my side, for you will have learned to live each instant in my presence. You will not be bewildered before the countless unfamiliar faces of heaven, for you will already have recognized my face in every breath you take. You will no longer doubt whether you are worthy, for you will have come to know that you are loved beyond measure. So, my beloved child, respond to my call, not only with your lips, but with the very beat of your heart, with the silent space within your soul, with every gesture of love you offer to your brothers and sisters, with the steadfast trust that I am always by your side. When you do this, you are not merely offering me your prayers, you are giving your very life to the boundless grace that makes everything you touch alive and full of meaning. Let the bond between you and me become an eternal love story, not confined to the pages of Scripture, but woven into every moment you live. You will discover that my love never runs dry, never grows cold, never fades away. It follows you down every path, lighting you like a candle in the darkness and guiding you home to eternity. And in the very moment, you know that I am the wisest friend, the surest refuge, the truest love. You will have touched the very essence of faith, not dry beliefs locked in the mind, but a living exchange between your heart and the heart of the Creator, a meeting of faith, hope, and love where you and I are united in an endless symphony of grace and compassion. I promise to grant you wisdom beyond the limits of understanding so that you may discern the whisper of truth from the clamor of doubt. I will give you patience like the gentle flow of a river, so that even when life is interrupted, you will not fall but will wait faithfully upon my will. And when you feel exhausted with no strength left to take another step, I will be the inexhaustible source that lifts you again, for I know that at times you chase after dreams so fervently that you forget the breath of your soul needs to rest. Your soul, my beloved, needs care at every moment, just as the fields thirst for rain in the season of drought, and I am the rain you must welcome. My love for you will pour forth like an endless spring, washing away every desert within you, so that you may know there is no storm greater than my love. My child, there are times when you race against time, striving to meet the goals you set for yourself to prove that you are capable enough, talented enough, accomplished enough. Yet I have never asked you to hurry in loneliness along that path. I have not decreed that you must exhaust yourself and leave me behind. On the contrary, I invite you to take my hand so that no matter how hurried your steps may be, no matter if you lose yourself in the labyrinth of ambition and anxiety, you may still feel my hands lifting you up, guiding you, and keeping you from falling into the abyss of despair. If you allow me to lead the way, I will carry you through every storm, not merely silencing the tempest in a cold, detached way, but teaching you to feel each gust of wind and each drop of rain as a lesson. I will not abandon you in the whirlwind, but will stand beside you, giving you a place to lean, giving you strength to face and transform adversity. You will learn to breathe again, to breathe in the peace of faith, not in the suffocating fear that you must fight alone. I will place my breath within yours, so that you may know each inhalation is a whisper of my love for you, a testimony that you are never alone. I will teach you to see life not through the dim lens of fear, but through the radiant eyes of faith. When you waver at a crossroads, I will open your eyes to see the light at the end of the tunnel. When you are shaken by trials, I will be the just balance, so you may discern what is truly valuable and what is fleeting. When you wrestle with whether to give up or press on, I will be the wisest whisper, soothing you like a mother, soothing her child, that no matter what you choose, no matter where you go, I will remain the one guiding each of your steps. My beloved child, I am not merely a source of strength for you to borrow, but your companion, your teacher, showing you how to walk the soil of life with the steady feet of faith. You will learn that your steps are not meant to rest upon the jagged stones of anxiety, but upon the soft meadows of hope. You will come to know that each gentle step taken in my presence traces a path toward a future full of promise. And when you look back, you will no longer see the restless footprints of uncertainty, but the firm imprints of trust. You will no longer feel weary like a wanderer lost, but at peace like one led into serenity. You will no longer hear the echo of doubt, but the rejoicing song of faith rising in your heart. Let me be the light that shines into every dark corner of your mind, so that you no longer fear the shadow of doubt. So that when darkness rushes in, you will see the wings of faith lifting you higher, carrying you beyond every torment. You will learn to use your heart to sense my presence, your ears to listen to the whisper of grace, and your feet to step into life with an unshakable firmness. If you allow me, I will lead you through the storm, not only to still it, but to help you recognize the greatness of the one love that can soothe every wound, the love that can turn tempests into opportunities for you to grow, for you to see. That it is precisely those storms that carve depth and strength into your soul. I will show you that every raindrop falling into your life is not merely a trial, but a gift. Every gust of wind is not only an obstacle, but a training ground. Every flash of lightning is not just a terror, but a warning to awaken you and help you reconsider the path you have taken. And when the storm is past, you will experience a profound peace, where you are no longer a wanderer lost in the raging wind, but a victor rising from the ruins. Your soul will become fertile soil, ready to receive the seeds of hope I sow within you. So, my child, allow me into every corner of your heart. Let me reign in your thoughts and in your actions, so that you live not merely by earthly breath, but by the breath of faith. Let every step you take be an offering, every word you speak be praise, and every beat of your heart be a song exalting my boundless love. You will never have to run alone, for I walk with you. No storm, however fierce, can withstand my presence. And you will learn again how to breathe, how to see, not through the lens of fear, but through the vision of unwavering faith. My beloved child, whenever the enemy whispers into your ear that you have gone too far, that you have fallen into a pit too deep to climb out, that your brokenness and your wounds prove you are no longer worthy of love, stand firm and remember my unchanging truth. Do not believe those deceitful words, for they seek only to bind you in fear and shame. They want you to think that I have abandoned you, that I have closed my heart against you, that I love only when you are good and perfect. But hear me, child, I affirm to you that my love for you is not limited by failure or weakness. I do not love you less when you stumble, nor do I withdraw when you fall. On the contrary, it is precisely in the moments when you feel you cannot rise again that I draw closest to you, reaching out my hand to lift you up, to wipe away your tears, and to whisper, "You are still mine." Love, my love, is not the kind of feeling that shifts with moods or circumstances. It is not like human love, which may fade with time or shatter when wounded. My love is eternal, a covenant inscribed that cannot be erased. When I declare I have loved you with an everlasting love, it means no mistake, no sin, no weakness can sever the bond I have tied between myself and you. The enemy wants you to believe that my love depends on your performance, but the truth is that I loved you even before you knew me, even when you still walked in darkness. You did nothing to earn this love, and you can do nothing to make it disappear. You may stumble, but I do not change. You may lose your way, but I remain at the crossroads waiting for you to return. You may be weak, but I am strong enough to lift you up. When you think you are too distracted to be worthy of my affection, I still see you through the lens of everlasting love. I do not see only your cracks. I see within you the image I placed from the very beginning, the image of a precious child carrying an irreplaceable worth. My child, do not let shame push you away from me. The enemy knows that if it can make you believe I no longer love you, it will bind you in chains of despair. But when you stand in the truth, when you declare I am loved by the one who never changes, those chains will break. It is my love alone that can heal the deepest wounds, that can raise you from the ashes, and that can turn scars into testimonies of grace. I know every fracture within you, yet I neither fear nor reject them. On the contrary, I use those very broken places to reveal my power. Just as a seed must fall into the earth and break apart before new life can sprout, so too must your soul sometimes endure breaking in order to bear new fruit. You may see yourself withering, but I see within you the potential to bloom into a radiant garden. You may feel lost, but I see you on the journey back into my embrace. You may think you have failed, but I see only a small chapter within the story of victory I have already written for your life. Love, my love, is the strong wall that shields you from every accusation. When the enemy rises to charge that you are unworthy, I am your advocate, the one who stands in your place and declares, its sins have been washed away. It belongs to me. Do not let the lies of the adversary drive you away from me, but let this unchanging love become the firm foundation on which you stand. When you build your life upon my love, fear and trembling will no longer rule over you, for you will know that you stand upon a ground that can never be shaken. My child, always remember, my love does not hold you only when you are strong, but it keeps you even in your weakest hour. I did not come to seek the perfect, but to save the lost, to lift up the fallen, and to embrace those the world has cast aside. Therefore, never believe that you have wandered too far to be loved by me. Wherever you go, I am there. Even if you fall into the deepest pit, my hand is still long enough to lift you out. And even if the whole world turns its back on you, I will remain unchanged. There is only one thing you must not do. Do not turn your back on me. Do not allow the enemy's lies to obscure the truth I have engraved within you. Remember that you are always the child I have chosen, the treasure in my eyes, the delight of my heart. And nothing, not death, not life, not angels, nor any power can separate you from the love I have for you, my beloved. Perhaps in your heart you have thought that your prayers are too small, too fragile to reach the Creator of all. You fear that your clumsy sighs or silent groans will be lost amidst the countless sounds of the universe. But I tell you this, not a single whisper of yours goes unheard. Even when your lips cannot form words, I still hear the echo of your soul. To me, every thought, every tear, every moment of silence carries immeasurable worth. I do not listen to you with partial attention, I listen with all of my heart, and even heaven itself bends in silence, waiting for your voice. You may wonder, can the one who made heaven and earth truly care about the small details of my life, my child? Precisely because I am a loving father, I tend to the smallest of details. I know each strand of hair upon your head. I see every tear that falls. I hear every hidden sigh. When you call to me, even with a trembling father, heaven turns its gaze toward you, for you are the joy of my heart. No prayer is ever too trivial for me to heed, and no matter within you is ever too small for me to care for. You are not a burden for me to endure. On the contrary, every time you draw near, my heart overflows with joy. I do not grow weary of your repeated prayers, nor am I tired when you bring the same concerns again and again. I am not like humans who quickly lose patience when hearing the same things over and over. With me, every time you come is new, a fresh opportunity for me to be close to you, to pour my life and love into your soul. Do not think that you must offer me grand prayers or finely crafted words, for I look straight into the heart, and a sincere heart, however simple, is enough to please me. My child, prayer is not only the words you speak, but the heartbeat of your soul connecting with the Creator. It is like breathing, silent, continuous, yet indispensable. When you pray, you may not always feel immediate change, but just as water slowly seeps into dry soil, it nourishes, softens, and makes the ground fertile so that it may bear fruit. Prayer is the path by which you hand over your burdens to me, and the way I pour my heavenly strength into you. When you speak with me, you are not only pouring out your heart, you are opening yourself to receive. Even your silence is not meaningless. I know there are moments when you sit quietly, your heart in turmoil, but your lips unable to form words. Do not think that I fail to understand, for that very silence is also a form of prayer. Your silence echoes before my throne like a profound melody, because I see all that is hidden within it. I read every longing in your heart, I understand every tear unseen by others. And in those very moments I draw nearer to you than ever before, to uphold you, to comfort you, and to grant peace that surpasses human understanding. Prayer is not a rigid duty nor a burden I place upon you. It is a privilege, a gift, a way for you to step into my presence at any moment. Remember, I did not design prayer as a test of faithfulness, but as a bridge to unite you with me. When you pray, you are placing your hand into mine, walking the path where heaven and earth meet. Prayer does not only change circumstances, it transforms you, the way you see, the way you feel, and the way you walk through life. My child, there are times when you think that prayer is useless, that your words rise only to the ceiling and fall back down. But I assure you, not a single word is lost in the void. Every prayer, whether great or small, I keep as a treasure. Some prayers you see answered quickly, while others I hold until the right moment to give you something far better than what you asked for. You may not fully understand, but trust this, no prayer is ever in vain. Each one becomes a fragrance that rises before my throne, and at the appointed time you will see it bear fruit in your life. Therefore, my child, do not hesitate to come to me each day. Speak to me about your joys, your worries, even the little things that seem trivial. Tell me what makes you laugh, and also what makes you weep. Hold nothing back, for I long to enter every corner of your life. I am not present only in the grand moments, but in the smallest of details. Each time you open your heart, I step in and transform the ordinary into the sacred. Never think that you are a burden to me. You are my joy, the precious jewel I cherish. Every time you speak with me, whether in the brightness of day or the stillness of night, it stirs my heart with delight. Prayer is not only you speaking to me, but also an opportunity to hear my whisper in return. In the silence, I will speak to you of what you need to know. I will reveal the path before you, and I will remind you that you are never alone. My beloved child, learn to see prayer not as a duty, but as a joyful appointment with your Father in heaven. It is the place where you find rest, where your soul is replenished with life, where the dust of the world is washed away, and where you are renewed in love. I rejoice when you come. I listen, I understand, and I love you with a love that never changes. Let prayer become the very breath of your soul, so that each of your days begins and ends in communion with me. For my child, you were created to live in this communion. You do not exist merely in a world of strife and struggle. You were made to walk with me, to converse with me, and to delight in the closeness of a relationship that no force can ever sever. Do not fear that you ask too much. Do not worry that you repeat yourself. Simply come, share, and open your heart. I will always be there, listening with perfect love and full attention. And I will always remind you, you are mine, and I rejoice in being with you. My beloved child, there are sacred treasures I have prepared since the beginning of time, meant solely for you. Yet these gifts cannot be placed into a soul already crowded with noise, worries, and barriers. I long to pour out blessings, peace, joy, and renewed strength into your life, but for that to happen, there must be an empty space within you, a place wide enough for me to dwell. Too often your heart is like a room filled with old things, fear, shame, bitterness, and countless burdens you carry day after day. My child, if you do not clear these away, the gifts I wish to bestow will have no place to rest. Know this, I never use my power to force you to make room for me. My love does not coerce. It is gentle, patient, and waiting. I do not break into the house of your soul to claim it for myself. Instead, I stand at the door and knock. I call your name with a voice full of tenderness, and I invite you to grant me the right to enter. But the key rests in your hand, for the door of the heart can only be opened from within. You may choose to keep it closed, leaving me outside, or you may open it and receive the flow of blessings I have already prepared. At times you wonder why you feel empty amid outward abundance, or why you remain weary even after receiving many of the things you once prayed for. It is because your heart has not truly made room for me. You fill it with concerns, anxieties, and restless ambitions, but none of these can quench the deepest thirst of your soul. I am the living water, and only when you let me dwell within will your thirst be satisfied. If you do not open your heart, you will always feel lacking, always feel hollow, for nothing in this world can compare to the abundant life I long to place inside you. My child, I am still waiting. I do not walk away, nor do I turn my back when you refuse me. Patiently, day after day, I continue to call your name. My call is not a roar of thunder, but a gentle whisper in your mind, a quiet stirring in your heart, an unexplainable longing you cannot ignore. That is me, reaching out, inviting you to return to the love that never changes. When you open the door, you will not only see me step inside, but the entire room of your soul will be filled with light. The shadows you thought would never fade will be driven away. The wounds you believed too deep to heal will be bound up. The empty spaces you tried to conceal will be filled with my presence. I do not merely bring gifts, I am the gift. And my presence within you will renew everything, your thoughts, your emotions, your hopes, and your very purpose in life. But my child, this can only happen when you choose to let go and open your heart. You cannot cling to everything that binds you and still expect me to fill you. You cannot hold tightly to bitterness and yet desire peace. You cannot embrace fear and still hope for freedom. I invite you to release your grip to create space for me. And when you offer that place to me, you will find that you do not lose but rather receive in abundance. Imagine a jar full of dust and sand. No matter how much pure water is poured into it, the water only overflows and nothing remains inside. So it is with your heart. Unless you clear away what is old and unclean, the blessings I pour out cannot remain. But when you are willing to empty it, I will fill it with the living water, and the jar will not only be full but will overflow, bringing refreshment to those around you. I know that opening the door of your heart is not easy. Often you fear that I will see the ugliness within. But my child, I have already known it all before you even opened up. I do not come in to condemn but to heal. I do not come to shame but to restore. I do not remain to record your faults but to cleanse and renew. You need not fear that I will reject you, for I am the one who loves you most, even when you did not yet know me. Therefore, my child, do not let that door remain closed for another day. I have knocked, I am knocking, and I will not cease to knock. Listen to my voice, be brave enough to open and allow me to transform your whole life. Once you let me in, you will never be the same again. You will know what true peace is, what true joy is, and what true freedom island. You will realize that the emptiness within you was never meant to be filled by the world, but by me, the one who created you. My beloved, I wait not to make you tremble, but to help you understand that I honor your choice. I will not force my way in if you do not desire it. I will not enter if you do not open. But once you open the door, I will turn a cold room into a radiant temple, wounds into testimonies, and your whole life into a living witness of eternal love. Remember, you may choose to refuse, but if you open your heart, you will experience what words can never fully describe. It is my presence, gentle, profound, and enduring for all eternity. And you will see that emptiness is no more, for I have become everything to you. My beloved child, within my heart are countless words I long to speak to you, not to burden you nor to overwhelm you with pressure, but to stir your soul and awaken something that has long been dormant within you. My words do not come to weigh you down, but like a soft breeze at the close of day, like the first rays of dawn, they come to quicken your spirit. For I know within you lie treasures you yourself have forgotten. You may have wandered too far. You may have been lost amidst the many voices calling out to you until you no longer recognize the voice of your own heart, the voice of the child made in my image, carrying within you the glory I inscribed. From the beginning, I see in you a depth of worth you no longer remember. You may see yourself as just an ordinary person struggling through the demands of life, but in my eyes you are still a precious jewel. Though time has covered you with dust, you still hold the radiance that only I can see. You have forgotten the dreams you once carried. Fear has interrupted the things you began. You have buried your dreams beneath the ashes of failure, of hurtful words of rejection, and of your own self-doubt. But today I long to touch those very places, not to accuse you, but to rekindle them, to fan into flame what has grown cold, to brush away the dust, so you may see those dreams are still alive. My child, I have not forgotten the whispers you once breathed in the night. I have not overlooked the quiet tears you shed when you felt you were not enough, and I will never abandon you, even when you abandon yourself. What you have forgotten, I still remember. What you have dropped, I still keep. I do not only wish to remind you of your true worth, I also want you to see that even the pain in your life is not without meaning. Every crack within your heart, every scar upon your soul, every silent tear you have shed, I see them all. And I want you to know that nothing is wasted in my hands. I am the one who turns ashes into beauty, who makes tears into seeds for a harvest of joy, who transforms wounds into living testimonies of victory. The enemy may plot to drown you in sorrow, yet I will use that very sorrow to lift you higher. When the enemy seeks to shatter your soul through trials, I will take those very trials and turn them into the means by which you grow stronger, more mature, and more resilient. Not by hiding your weakness, but by transforming that weakness into the place where my power is revealed. Everything that once sought to break you, I will use to build you. Every time you fall, if you allow me, I will turn that place into the foundation for something new. Every failure, when placed in my hands, will cease to be an ending. Instead, it will become the opening chapter of what I have already destined for you. I do not erase your past, but I weave it into your journey. And though that journey may twist, stumble, and falter, it still leads to the glorious purpose I have prepared for you. You may ask, can my mistakes ruin your plan? And my answer to you, beloved, is this: no. Nothing you have ever done can overpower my power to restore. Even when you choose the wrong path, I can still turn it into a testimony. Even when you lose your way, I still know how to bring you back. Remember this: your worth does not lie in the achievements you collect, nor does it depend on how others see you. Your worth comes from the one who created you. I have called you beloved, and that word has never changed. Let me do the work of healing within your heart. Let me step into the memories you have tried so hard to bury, so that I may clear away the fears, the shame, and the poisonous words that once made you believe you were unworthy. For if you do not believe in your own worth, you will not dare to receive the great things I long to give you. I never cease to see you through the lens of hope. I am not bound by your failures. I do not see you as a product of circumstance, but as one I have intentionally shaped, born into this world with a plan full of grace. And if you are still breathing, still alive, then the journey is not over. There is still a new chapter waiting. There is still something I want you to accomplish. Do not let pain trap you in the past. Do not let stagnation convince you that it's too late. For with me, it is never too late. We can use the hands that once trembled to uphold and strengthen others. We can take the voice that once fell silent out of shame and turn it into a trumpet that heralds awakening. We can open the heart that was once shattered to carry a love that brings healing to others. Therefore, my child, do not be afraid when I begin to stir within you. Do not be alarmed when my light shines into the hidden corners where you once concealed your deepest wounds. I do not come to condemn, but to heal. I do not come to expose you before the world, but to clothe you with a new garment woven of hope, honor, and unconditional love. Believe this: even the smallest and seemingly insignificant things are never overlooked in my hands. Every unfinished story, every dream that has been buried, every longing yet unfulfilled, I know them all. And if you entrust them to me, I will bring forth wonders. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to walk forward with faith. For on that path I am the lamp to your steps and the flame that will never be extinguished within your heart. When you move forward, I will walk with you. When you grow weary, I will carry you. And when you can no longer find words to pray, I will be the whispered prayer within your soul. This is how I turn sorrow into glory and weakness into courageous strength. This is how I love you, not only the parts of you that seem whole, but the entirety of who you are, even when you have not yet learned to love yourself. My beloved child, I am the one who redeems all that seemed lost. I can make what was broken whole again. I can transform failure into the stepping stone of triumph, and I can turn the darkest pathways into roads of light. When you ask for guidance, I do not merely hear. I am ready to take your hand and show you the way step by step. But my child, the question I ask is this: will you be still long enough to hear my voice? Too often you rush away, searching for answers in the noise of the world, yet so rarely do you pause in the stillness to listen. And yet it is precisely in that silence that I whisper, precisely in that stillness that I reveal myself. Only when you cease to speak will you finally hear me. My child, I am not only good in my promises, but I am good in my deeds. My goodness is not a vague idea for you to merely speak of, but a truth you can experience in every detail of your life. I am good in timing, for I come neither too early nor too late. I am good in purpose, for I use everything, both blessings and trials, to shape you and prepare you for the future I have already ordained. Even when you do not understand, I still act in goodness, for my very nature is love. There are times when you cry out and do not yet see an answer, and you think I am silent, that I have forgotten you. But my child, I never forget. I never overlook a single prayer. Sometimes I withhold, not because I desire to hurt you, but because I am preparing you for something greater. If I were to answer too soon, when your heart and faith are not yet mature, the gift I give might become a burden. That is why I delay, to teach you patience, to build your trust, and to strengthen your soul. At times, my seeming slowness is because I am arranging things beyond your sight. You only see a fragment, but I see the whole picture. You only know today, but I know your entire life from beginning to end. There are doors I am opening and closing, movements I am making in places you are unaware of. My delay is not denial, but a sign that I am working at a deeper level that your eyes cannot yet perceive. And when the right time comes, you will see that the waiting itself was proof of my wisdom and my love for you. My child, I always answer. But what you must understand is this: I do not always answer in the way you imagine. At times you ask for ease, but I give you strength to endure hardship. You ask for a smooth path, but I give you steady feet to climb the hill. You ask for what you want, but I give you what you truly need. For I know what will keep you in my love, what will mature you, and what will lead you to fullness in my will. Trust me even when you cannot see. Believe in my goodness, even when circumstances seem to deny it. Trust my timing, even when everything feels delayed. I have never forgotten a single child who has called upon me. Every tear you shed is kept by me. Every prayer you whisper is engraved before me. And on the day I have appointed, you will see that the answer not only comes, but comes in a way far more complete than you could have ever hoped. My beloved child, I want you to learn that my silence is never my absence. It is in that very silence that I am working far more than you realize. Like a potter shaping clay in quietness, I am molding your soul in the seasons when you think you have been forgotten. And then at the appointed time I will place you upon the wheel for all to see the beauty I have so carefully formed within you. So my child, be patient, wait, and believe that I am the one who keeps his word. You will never be disappointed when you place your trust in me, for I am faithful, the one who always fulfills what he has promised. Rest in this truth: I never forget, I never overlook, and my silence is never meaningless. I am at work, and I will answer in the way, and at the time my love knows is best for you. My precious one, each time you choose to turn toward me, you open a pathway for heaven to touch earth through your very life. You may think it is just a small act, a quiet decision in your heart, but in the spiritual realm it carries far greater weight than you imagine. When you choose me, above the countless distractions, light from heaven shines upon your life and radiates outward to those around you. As you draw near to me, I also draw nearer still. This is the mystery of my love. I, the one who owns all things, the one who lacks nothing, still long for closeness with you, a fragile yet priceless creation in my eyes. I desire to be the first thought in your heart as you open your eyes to a new day, that your very first breath might rise as a whisper of thanksgiving. I want to be the last thought that lingers in your mind before sleep falls, so that in that stillness you may rest in my embrace. When you begin and end your day with me, the entire journey between those two moments will be covered with my peace and guided by my hand, my child. Let my presence wrap around your mind like a warm garment on a bitter winter day. The world is full of icy winds of worry, disappointment, and fear, but I am the cloak that shields you from trembling. Clothe yourself in my presence each day so that you may know you are always safe, always protected, always upheld, no matter how fierce the storms may rage around you. My word is not meant to be used only in times of crisis, nor is it some kind of fast food to ease your despair in desperate moments. My word is your daily nourishment, the bread of life, the sweet milk that nurtures your soul from within. When you continually partake of it, you will grow, become strong, and be filled with vitality. But if you only turn to it in fleeting moments of hardship, your soul will remain unsatisfied, and you will easily collapse under trials. Let my word become your constant source of sustenance, so that each of your days is built up in unchanging truth and love. My child, let me be the melody that resounds within the rhythm of your daily life. Amidst the chaos, when the noise of the world surrounds you, I will be the gentle music that lifts and sustains your soul. Amidst the hurried pace of life, when your heart pounds restlessly with worries, I will bring a song of peace that calms it all. Imagine the world outside as a relentless beating drum, and know that I am the soft melody woven through it, reminding you that life is not only about pressure, but also about love, grace, and the peace that flows from the Eternal One. When your strength runs dry, when your hands are no longer strong enough to carry the load, I will be the source of peace that lifts you up. You do not need to rely on your own strength, for it is limited. But the peace I give is not like the world's. It does not depend on circumstances, nor does it waver with the changing seasons of life. That peace is like invisible wings lifting you out of the pit of despair and placing you upon solid rock. It does not erase every storm, but it keeps you standing firm in the very midst of them. My beloved, I do not call you to live a life that merely gets by. I invite you into a life of abundance, overflowing with vitality from me. Every moment you choose me, you receive not only for yourself, but you also become a vessel through which heaven's grace and life flow to those around you. You will become comfort for the weary, light for the lost, and hope for broken souls. Let every thought, every action, every heartbeat of yours be in harmony with me. Do not keep me on the margins as a last resort when no other way remains. Place me at the very center, and you will see your whole life transformed. Every decision will become clearer, every trial lighter, and every dream possible. For when I am both the beginning and the end, then along the journey, I am also the one who walks with you, who upholds you, and who leads you onward. My beloved child, let me be your breath, your light, your peace that covers your whole being. Let me be the rhythm of your life, the song of your soul, the hand that lifts you in weakness, the refreshing river flowing through the barren desert of existence. For you were not created to live apart from me, but to live in deep communion, where heaven and earth meet in the very fabric of your life. And when you live this way, those around you will see the imprint of heaven in your eyes, in your words, in the way you love. They will realize that it is not you shining by yourself, but my light blazing within you. They will feel the rhythm of peace flowing from you, and they will long to draw near to the fountain of life that has renewed your soul. This is how I reveal my glory through those I love, and you are part of this great and wondrous plan. My dearly loved child, I have seen every hidden corner within you, the things you keep from human eyes, the silent fears, the old wounds, and the mistakes you long to bury forever. Yet even seeing all of this, I have chosen you. My decision does not rest on achievements, nor does it depend on what you gain in the eyes of the world. I choose you because you are mine. My love for you is not built on your work or your ability, but on your identity in me. You are my beloved child, the reflection of my image, the precious creation I have shaped with hands of power and a heart of love. At times you think of me as distant, cold, watching only to find fault and punish when you fall. You imagine me as stern, always disappointed when you stumble again. But my child, when you think this way, you have forgotten who I truly am. I am the one full of mercy, the loving Father who never ceases to cherish you. I am patient, waiting for you each day, no matter how far you may wander. I am gentle, never breaking a bruised reed, nor extinguishing a smoldering wick. Yes, I am holy, just, and glorious. But my holiness does not cancel out my kindness. Rather, it is made complete when united with infinite love and boundless compassion. My child, I am never surprised by the battles raging within you. I am not startled when you have days of discouragement, moments of doubt, or times when you stumble and fall. I knew all of this beforehand, yet I still chose to walk with you. I did not come to thrust you into the shadows of shame, but to lead you out of them and set your feet upon solid rock. You may fail, but I will never fail in my love for you. You may turn away, but my arms remain open, patiently waiting for the day you return. You may be weak, but it is in that very weakness that I become your strength, lifting you up once more. My child, do not let false images of me drive you away. Do not believe the lies that I am only filled with anger or disappointment. I am the one who searches for the lost sheep, who steps into the dark cave to rescue the one who has gone astray, who leaves behind the 99 to find you alone. I am not a distant figure sitting coldly upon a high throne, far removed from your pain. On the contrary, I am the one who entered this world, clothed myself in fragile flesh, endured suffering that I might fully understand every trial you face. I carried the cross not because I needed to prove anything, but so you would know this truth. Nothing can separate you from my love. Beloved child, remember that in my eyes you are never defined by your failures. You are not trapped within your mistakes. You are not the sum of your shortcomings, but the object of an unshakable love. I know you better than you know yourself, and still I call you my child. Let this truth transform the way you see yourself. You are loved, forgiven, covered by grace, and called to walk in freedom. My child, I know the battle inside you is sometimes fierce. I see when you wrestle with temptation, when you struggle with fear and doubt. I see it all, yet I do not turn away. Instead, I step into the heart of the battle, not to condemn, but to fight on your behalf. I am the one who wields the sword, standing as your shield. I am the fortress that holds firm when enemies surround you. I am the safe refuge when you grow weary. And when you can no longer take another step, I am the arms that carry you along the way. My child, my love does not change even when circumstances do. It is not shaken by failure, not diminished by weakness, and not lost when you are uncertain. It remains a flame that burns bright, steadfast, and unquenchable. Therefore, come to me even in your weakness. Weep before me even in your brokenness, and trust that I will receive you just as you are. Do not be afraid to hide nothing, for there is nothing within you I have not already seen. And still, I love you, I choose you, I lift you up because you are precious in my eyes. My beloved child, when you lose direction and forget your true identity, I want you to remember the priceless treasure I have placed within you to draw you back. It is an unfading love, a love that transcends time, a love not bound by failures or changing circumstances. You may change, you may grow weary, you may forget me for a moment, but my love for you remains unshaken. It does not fade, nor does it wither. Nothing you do, whether it be failure, mistake, or even betrayal, can separate you from this love. I call you back not to impose or to force, but because your very soul is longing for me, even when you do not realize it. Deep within you carry an emptiness that can only be filled by my presence. You may try to cover it with work, with relationships, with fleeting pleasures, but nothing will bring lasting satisfaction. You were not created merely to live, to work, or to chase success. You were created to worship me, to live in communion with me, and to reflect my glory upon the earth. My child, your heart was designed to worship. And when it is not turned toward me, it will inevitably give its worship to something else, perhaps fame, wealth, another person, or even fear and anxiety. You may think you are in control, but in truth you are being controlled. That is why I call you back, because I know that only the worship of the Creator can bring true freedom. When you put me in the rightful place, the first and the highest, everything else in life will fall into its proper order. Do not think that I call you back because I lack something. I am already complete. I need nothing more, but it is you who are lacking. Your soul thirsts, and only I am the living spring. Your heart is dry, and only I can make it bloom. Your mind is restless, and only I can bring deep peace. When you return, you will see that you have not lost anything. Rather, you have found yourself again. You will discover meaning, you will find freedom, and you will know a joy that no one can take away. My child, when you are far from me, your soul is like a tree uprooted from the soil. For a moment it may remain green by what little nourishment is left, but in time it will wither. Yet when you return, your roots will grow deep in my love, and from there you will bear fruit not by your own strength, but by the life that flows from me. You will become a refreshing stream to others, a light shining in the darkness, a living testimony that there is one who loves and redeems all. So my child, do not resist the call that stirs within your heart. Do not try to suppress the longing I have placed deep inside you. It is the spiritual compass that always points you back to me, no matter how far you may wander. I am calling you to return, not to punish you, but to hold you safely in my arms. Not to condemn you, but to forgive you. Not to bring you shame, but to restore the dignity I gave you from the dawn of creation. My beloved child, come back. Offer me the heart that already belongs to me. Let me wipe away the dust, bind up the wounds, and revive what you once thought was dead. Let me awaken in you a new desire, a fresh faith, and a freedom unlike anything you have known. And as you worship me, you will see your life no longer chasing after emptiness, but set firmly upon the rock that can never be shaken. The world may offer you dazzling lights that seem eternal, yet when you reach out to grasp them, you will discover they are but vanishing illusions, leaving behind a vast emptiness within. Its promises are like passing winds, stirring for a moment, yet powerless to sustain the soul. They may stir your heart for an instant, but when night falls, you will find yourself still alone in the shadows. What belongs to the world can only touch the surface, never healing the roots of the pain in your soul. That is why I call you to return, for in me you will find what truly refreshes, what keeps you steady, and what grants you lasting life. Do not put your trust in what is fleeting, but return and taste the sweetness of the eternal spring, so you may know that I am always good and that my mercy endures forever. My child, it is never too late to begin again. You are not defined by your past mistakes nor imprisoned by your failures. As long as breath flows through your chest, I am still calling you into a new land of grace. Remember, I do not measure you by the times you have fallen, but by the courage with which you rise again. Every heartbeat is proof that I still have a purpose, a plan, and a journey written for you. I see you not as you see yourself, for my eyes pierce through the ashes and behold the precious seed I planted within you. And that seed, if you nurture it with faith and obedience, will bloom and bear fruit in the season I have appointed. Therefore, do not fear nor lose hope. Step deeper into the call, for I am the firm foundation under every step you take. I know you have grown weary chasing fragile dreams, shedding tears into the night because of the emptiness you felt within. But my child, that was never the end. Right at the place of disappointment, I have been opening a new door for you. I do not allow the emptiness to consume you. Instead, I use it to help you realize that only in me will you truly find meaning. I am the living water for your thirsty soul, the bread of life for your hungry mind, the light guiding you through the darkest night. Even if you feel it is already too late, I still whisper your name. Come, you have not missed what I have prepared for you. I am the one who transforms what is broken into something new, who turns fragments into masterpieces, and who makes pain into testimony. So do not hesitate, open your heart and step forward. For as long as you still breathe, I am still writing the story of your life. As long as you still live, I am fulfilling what I have promised. And that story, as you follow me, will never end in disappointment, but will be sealed in glory. My beloved child, even now in this very moment, when you are confused and cannot yet see the outcome, I have already been sowing seeds of life into your heart. They do not appear immediately for your eyes to see, but they are buried deep within the soil of your soul, nurtured by me, watered with my love and faithfulness. Perhaps right now all you see is darkness, endless waiting and weariness, but know this, beneath the surface, new life is forming. What I sow is never in vain, and what I begin will surely bear fruit in its appointed season. Remember, my harvest does not depend on human haste, but on the perfect timing of my plan. So, child, do not be impatient to see results at once. A young tree needs time to take root. A seed must rest in silence and darkness before it can sprout, and fruit must endure both rain and sunshine before it matures. If I let you harvest too early, the fruit would be unripe and bitter. If I placed upon you burdens heavier than your strength, you would stumble and fall. That is why when I ask you to wait patiently, it is not because I delay to disappoint you, but because I want to ensure that when you step into the new season, you will have the strength to carry and keep the blessing. Do not compare your path with the journey of anyone else. You often look to the left and to the right, seeing others moving faster, succeeding more, receiving greater blessings, and your heart wavers. But my child, you do not know what I am doing in their lives, nor do you see all the battles they must face. The plan I have written for each person is unique. No one can live your life for you, and you cannot step into the place of another. The calling upon your life is not like theirs, for I have created you in a singular way with a singular purpose. I have not called you to become a copy of anyone. I have not invited you to live in endless comparison or to run a race of rivalry. I have called you to be yourself, the child in whom I have placed my image. You do not need to prove your worth by imitating others. You only need to remain in me, to walk with me, to move in the rhythm that I lead. When you choose to abide with me, you will find yourself. You will discover the true identity I have given you, and you will taste a freedom beyond measure. My child, remember this. Your journey with me is not a competition, but a relationship. My goal is not for you to reach the finish line the fastest, but for you to learn how to walk with me each day. I want you to know that your value is not determined by how much you achieve, but by how close you are to me. If you gain every success but do not have me, your heart will remain empty. Yet if you have me, even when the world thinks you have nothing, you still possess everything. So my child, let go of comparison, let go of envy, let go of measuring yourself against others. Fix your eyes on me. Let me be the only standard of your worth, the compass of your journey. You do not need to become great in the eyes of the world. You only need to be faithful in mine. For in my eyes, even the smallest act of faithfulness is far more precious than dazzling accomplishments that are distant from my presence. I call you to remain with me not just at times, but every day, every hour. When you choose to stay with me, you will learn how to live free from the pressures of comparison and unbound from the haste of rushing. You will find rest in the peace that the world cannot give, and you will walk in the confidence that I hold everything in my hands. This is the very freedom you have long been searching for, the freedom to live in true purpose, the freedom not to be defined by comparisons, and the freedom to bloom in the season I have appointed for you. Therefore, my beloved child, trust in my process. Believe that what I plant will surely bear fruit. Believe that I know the perfect time to open doors, to pour out blessings, and to reveal myself. Cast aside the lens of comparison and seek only me, for when you are with me, you have everything. You will see that your journey is no longer a weary race, but a joyful pilgrimage, where each step is illuminated by my light, and every season of your life shines brightly in the loving plan I have written from the very beginning. My beloved child, I see it all clearly. I see those who once felt the warmth of my presence, who once heard the gentle call from heaven, who once walked in the light. I shone upon them, yet turned away and chose another path. They were invited, they were given the chance to taste the sweetness of grace, yet their hearts wavered. To some I came in dreams, whispering tender reminders. To others I called in the stillness where no sound intruded, so that only silence remained for them to hear my voice. To some I sent others to counsel them, to guide them out of the shadows. And to some I kindled within their hearts a fire of conviction, so they might know that their present way of life was not the path of life. But oh my child, how sorrowful it is that many chose hesitation. Instead of stepping out at my call, they sat down and began to reason. They measured with their limited minds, and in doing so rejected the leading of the Holy Spirit. They heard my voice but dismissed it as a fleeting thought. They felt the fire stirring within, yet quickly quenched it with doubt. And so step by step they allowed the world to steal their focus. The noise, the desires, the temptations drew them away. Their eyes turned from me toward fleeting things, and their hearts grew hardened. There are some who let pride turn them into closed-off souls. Instead of bowing in humility, they raise up walls of defiance, thinking they can control life on their own. It is pride itself that robs them of the gentleness needed to receive my voice. Others carry within them wounds that have never healed. They feel too broken to believe, too weary to keep going, and so they let go, slipping away from my embrace, convinced that I no longer care. Those very wounds, rather than drawing them nearer to me, the one who can heal, become the reason for their distance. My child, I see and I know it all. Their weakness never surprises me. My heart grieves, yet I remain patient. I never cease calling, never cease waiting, never cease keeping my arms open. I know the noise of the world often drowns out my whisper, yet I also know that deep within their souls still thirst, and no one but me can quench that thirst. No matter how far they wander, I long for the day they return. That is why I warn you, my child, do not let your heart follow their path. Do not allow reason to become chains that bind you away from faith. Do not let the distractions of this world make you forget your true purpose. Do not let pride turn you into one who rejects my love, and do not let wounds distance you from the only one who can heal. Keep your heart tender to my call. Choose trust over delay, surrender over resistance, and walking with me over being dragged away by passing things. Remember this, many are called, but few truly respond. I do not want you to be only a hearer, but one who rises and walks. I do not want my call in your life to fade into a distant memory, but to become a living reality. Be the one ready to answer. Yes, here I am when I call for that is the very path that will lead you into the great blessing I have prepared. My beloved child, I have seen the path that many have chosen as they gradually drift away from the voice that once made their souls tremble, that once set their hearts ablaze in the early days. They once tasted the sweetness of my presence, once experienced the power of my word, but then allowed their eyes to be captivated by the fleeting glitter of this world. Those things may shine for a moment, making them believe they have grasped happiness, but soon everything fades away. That false light goes out, leaving behind a heavy darkness in the soul. They chase after applause and human recognition, hoping that such praise might fill the emptiness within. Yet the fleeting cheers only leave behind a deeper void. They believe they are being honored, but in truth they are chained to the fragility of public opinion. Today they are praised, tomorrow they are despised. And like a leaf caught in the wind, they stagger, unable to find stability for their souls. Some seek comfort in what is tangible: wealth, power, relationships, or passing pleasures. But they soon realize that all of it is like smoke that vanishes, nothing that can endure. What they cling to eventually slips from their hands, leaving them empty-handed. And within that endless cycle of pursuit, their spirits are slowly drained dry. Now, in a world overflowing with noise, their souls fall into desolation. Surrounded by ceaseless activity inside, they are barren like a parched desert. They busy themselves to hide their loneliness, yet the busier they become, the more lost they feel. The loud music, the vibrant parties, the endless conversations, these are but a mask covering hearts that long for true life. My child, I grieve when I see them wander so far. Not because I lose any glory, but because I know they are losing themselves. I know they will never find fulfillment in fleeting applause or in moments of vanity. For mankind was created for something far greater: to live in a living communion with the Creator, to have their souls satisfied by eternal love. My child, I remind you of this to awaken you, so that you will not step onto the path that many have already taken. Do not let the glittering things of this world blind your eyes. Do not think that the acceptance of the world can bring you peace. Do not seek comfort in things that are fleeting, for they will betray you when you need them most. Remember that true comfort can only come from me, the one who has engraved your name on the palm of my hand, the one who will never abandon you, and the one who can turn emptiness into abundance. I do not turn away those who are lost. Even though they have turned aside, I still stand waiting at the crossroads with arms wide open. Even though they have sunk deep into the noise of the world, I still whisper their names in the silence. Even though they believe they are too far gone to return, I have already prepared the way back. Know this: the moment they choose to lift their eyes toward me, I will run to embrace them, just as the Father ran to meet the prodigal son. And this is true for you as well. My beloved child, whenever you feel lost, remember that my arms are always open. My child, let this be engraved upon your heart. I did not create you to drown in the emptiness of the world, but to be satisfied in my presence. I did not call you to chase after the fading applause of men, but to live in the eternal approval of heaven. I did not form you to be surrounded by noise while your spirit remains lonely, but to walk in the peace that no one can take away. And I remind you today so that you may choose the way of life, so that you may know that in me you will never be lost, never be forgotten. Beloved child, never allow the thought of it is too late to haunt you or bind you. Do not let the lies of the enemy take root in your mind, telling you that your chance has passed, that you have missed the appointed moment, that you no longer hold any worth. My child, as long as breath remains in your chest, as long as your eyes can still look upward, my calling for you remains intact, never fading. The plans I have prepared for your life are not erased simply because you strayed. The gifts I placed within you are not discarded simply because you stumbled. The dream I planted in your heart has not been buried forever by the storms of life. They may be lying dormant, buried beneath fear, hidden under layers of disappointment and pain, but I can breathe life into them again. I can restore what seemed to be lost. I can rekindle the flame that appeared extinguished. I can call forth what was dead to live once more, as though breathing life into dry bones, causing them to rise as a mighty army. Nothing is beyond the reach of my power. No wound is too deep for me to heal. No dream is too shattered for me to rebuild. But my child, for these things to happen, you must come to me. You cannot simply stand at a distance and hope everything will change. You cannot give me only a small portion and keep the rest for yourself. You cannot offer yourself to me only at times, then pull back when it feels inconvenient. I call for full surrender, for a heart wholly turned toward me. For only when you yield completely can I renew completely. Only when you open every corner of your soul can my light shine into every darkness. Surrender does not mean losing yourself. It means rediscovering your true self. When you release your grip and let me hold you, you will see that I never sought to take away what is good, but to give you what is better. When you hand me the broken pieces, I will create a new masterpiece. When you lay down your burdens, I will give you wings to rise. And when you surrender wholly, you will experience true freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from insecurity, freedom from the invisible chains that have long bound your soul. My beloved, I know surrender is not easy. It requires absolute trust, stepping out of your comfort zone and letting go of the control you think you have. But look back, dear one, the control you clung to has never truly given you peace. It has only left you weary, drained, and uncertain. Only when you place everything in my hands will you find rest, and in that rest I will rebuild, I will lead, and I will make a way. Remember this, I am never late. I never do things halfway. I am the one who begins and who completes. If I have planted a promise within you, I will be faithful to bring it to fulfillment. The delay you see is not denial, but preparation. Let me work according to my timing, for the moment I choose is always more perfect than anything you could imagine. My child, come near to me with trust. Surrender not merely in words, but with your whole life. Allow me to be Lord over every part of you, not only the one you turn to in times of need. When you yield yourself completely, you will see new doors open, unexpected blessings overflow, and a life far beyond what you ever dreamed. You are not defined by what has passed, but by the one who is calling you today. And that one is me, the one who loves you with unchanging love, the one who still has plans for you, the one who can turn what seems to be the end into a new beginning. Therefore, my child, do not delay any longer. Do not listen to the voice of lies. Return, surrender, and allow me to do what I have always longed to do, to make your life a living testimony of my power and my love. Open your eyes, my child, and look deeply into the reality of those who have chosen to turn away from my voice. You will see that behind the glittering facade lies hearts full of turmoil minds, torn by countless desires that can never be satisfied. They may clothe themselves with the dazzling garments of status, wealth, or power, but deep within their souls are empty, like parched ground without water. The pain they carry is not a punishment I impose, but the natural consequence of a life severed from the source of life. When people turn away from me, they are like branches cut off from the vine. Though at first they may retain a trace of vitality, sooner or later they wither, unable to bear fruit. Remember, I am the true vine, and only by remaining in me will you find strength, nourishment, and true meaning for every breath you take. Do not let your heart waver when you see those who seem to rise in wealth or power. Do not let your eyes be blinded by the false light that appears radiant, but quickly fades. For prosperity that is not bound to me is nothing more than a beautiful vessel, yet hollow within. They may build castles, but their foundations are laid upon sinking sand. When the storm comes, it will expose their frailty and bring about ruin. They may hold in their hands money, fame, and pleasure, but none of these can fill the emptiness of the soul, nor can they purchase the peace that only I can give. The world may praise them, yet in the stillness of the long night they know within themselves that they are exhausted, wrestling with an unseen void. In the end, all that glitter leaves behind nothing but ashes, the ashes of fleeting dreams. But as for you, do not fear when your path seems narrower, when your journey is marked by thorns, or when pain threatens to overwhelm you. For when you are in me, even suffering itself gains meaning. I turn tears into seeds, I transform trials into a launching ground. I make the darkest nights a canvas upon which my light shines forth. Allow me to write a new story out of what you thought was beyond redemption. You will come to see that true beauty is not born of an easy life, but of hearts that have been broken before me and allowed me to heal. In that very moment, you become a living testimony that my love can transform all things. And when others look upon your life, they will know that true blessing does not lie in fleeting prosperity, but in walking with the one who created all things. Therefore, my child, keep your faith steadfast, remain firm in your union with me, for you shall see eternal fruit, fruit that nothing in this world can ever compare to. My beloved child, I know every step you take, every decision that has caused you to stumble, and every choice that has left deep scars upon your soul. At times you may think that those scars are proof of your failure, but I tell you this, even in the midst of pain, I can open a new path before you. The wrong choices of the past may have weighed you down, may have cast you into long nights without escape, but even those moments are a wake-up call, summoning you back. Do not let pain remain merely a stain upon your memory. Let it become a bridge that leads you back into my embrace. For whenever your heart grows tender and you recognize your own limitations, that is the very place where I can perform miracles in your life. Do not waste your tears, for with me not a single tear falls in vain. Do not let sorrow become chains that bind your soul, but allow it to be a lamp that lights your way toward repentance and humility. You may think that you have gone too far, that you have lost my trace, but I want you to know the way back is never closed. Every time your heart bows low and cries out, "Lord, save me," the gates of heaven swing open wide. Repentance is not humiliation, but the most courageous act of a soul that knows nothing in this world can replace the presence of its Creator. I do not seek perfection in you, but I long for a heart willing to return, a spirit willing to let me shape and renew it. My child, I promise you that I will not allow your pain to be wasted. Out of brokenness, fertile soil is formed where seeds of transformation may grow. Out of loss, I can reveal love and restoration. When you think your mourning is the end, I will turn it into the beginning of a new song. I will exchange your garments of grief for robes of gladness, and I will turn your tears into a dance of joy. As Scripture has said, you turned my mourning into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy. Psalm 3:011. My child, you are not defined by what you have lost, but by the one who restores, recreates, and grants you a new life. So open your heart, resist no longer, and let your very pain draw you back into my arms, where sorrow becomes the wellspring of hope, where brokenness becomes the testimony of grace, and where you will discover that only I am your everlasting satisfaction. My beloved child, many people in this world are suffering not because I do not love them, but because they believe they can determine their own destiny, building their lives with their own hands without my guidance. They trust that their wisdom and strength are enough that they can raise castles of sand upon shifting ground without the solid rock that is me. They choose fragments of my word, those that are pleasing and agreeable, while neglecting the parts that require obedience, surrender, and complete submission. They call upon my name for display, for boasting, for seeking support, yet they do not truly listen to my voice, nor yield to the leading of the Holy Spirit. There are those who praise me with their lips, but their hearts remain distant, for deep within they have not given me the place of lordship. They sing songs of worship in the assembly, but when the doors are closed, their hearts return to anxiety, calculations, and their own plans. Once they tasted the peace that comes from me, once they knew what it meant to be led by my hand, but then they strayed, letting their hearts be swept away by the enticements of the world. And now they have become wanderers in spirit, weary seekers of what they once had but let slip away. They are confused, unable to distinguish truth from deception. They long to relive the days of closeness with me, but they no longer know the way back. My child, I call you to learn from their mistakes. Do not let the precious years of your life pass by in vain, only to awaken one day and realize you have lost what matters most. Do not wait until your hair has turned gray and your strength has withered to discover that all your achievements, all your efforts not built on my foundation, are but ashes scattered by the wind. Be awake now while your heart still beats, while breath still fills your chest. Do not let my invitation become a distant echo that you ignore. My beloved, the wisdom of this age will tell you that freedom means doing whatever you desire. But the truth is, when you are apart from me, you do not walk into freedom, you walk into bondage. These chains do not always appear at once, but bind you little by little, the chains of anxiety, the chains of greed, the chains of comparison, the chains of corrupted relationships. And by the time you realize it, you are exhausted, worn down, and no longer know how to break free. I do not desire for you to become like that. I call you to enter into true freedom, the freedom that comes from knowing that I am your Lord and that you do not have to carry the burden alone. When you surrender, it is not defeat, but victory, because in that moment, you place your load into the hands of the one who can bear it for you. When you live in me, you will know what true peace is, what true meaning is, and what true fulfillment is, something that nothing in this world can ever give. My child, do not wait until the final day to recognize this truth. Do not repeat the mistakes of those who lost their chance. Wake up today and choose the path I have already laid before you. Let me be the solid foundation of your life, so that what you build will endure forever and not be swept away by the storms of trial. And when you do this, you will not wander in confusion like others, but will walk in radiant light with a heart full of peace and a soul overflowing with hope. My child, I do not seek from you long rituals or elaborate prayers, for what I desire is your sincere heart. Offer me your time, not as a burden or a duty to fulfill, but as a gift of love given freely. You do not need to come to me to prove anything or to earn my mercy, for that mercy I have already bestowed. I want you to draw near to me simply because you love me, because you long for my presence in every moment of your life. When love is the driving force, even the briefest moments become precious, for love makes time eternal. Do not take lightly those few minutes of stillness each day. Do you think that 5 minutes are not enough to change a life? But I tell you, if you give those 5 minutes with honesty and surrender, they can turn the course of your soul. Have you not seen how a small drop of water can wear away solid rock? In the same way, just a few minutes with me, if they are genuine, can soften a hardened heart and heal cracks that seemed beyond repair. When you offer me your time, I do not only receive that moment, but I also enter your life, refreshing, renewing, and rekindling what has grown dim. The flame of faith may seem extinguished, but with just one breath of my spirit, that flame will blaze again. I do not measure your devotion by the length of the words you recite, but by the depth of the encounter. A single moment of truly meeting me can carry more power than hours of empty repetition. 5 minutes of sincerity can gather your wandering thoughts, drawing your mind back from chaos into peace. Just one moment is enough for your tears to fall, for your heart to break, and for me to step in and begin anew. You do not need crowded places nor elaborate rituals. You only need a quiet space, an open heart, and a whispered prayer. Lord, I need you. In that very moment, I will be there. I will sit with you, listen to your breath, wipe away your tears, and breathe new life into your soul. Believe that even one honest second with me can become a lighthouse to guide your entire journey. My beloved child, if your morning begins with me, your whole day will carry a different light. When you open your eyes and lift to me the first words of gratitude, your heart will be shaped in the light instead of being dragged into the shadows of worry. You will learn to respond to every situation with the wisdom of the Spirit rather than reacting out of raw emotion. You will no longer be swept away by the sudden storms of life because you know you are standing on the solid rock of my presence. When pressure surrounds you instead of panic, you will remain at peace, for that peace does not come from favorable circumstances, but from the presence of the one who holds the universe in his hands. When you walk through the storm, you will no longer tremble, for you know I am holding your hand. When the world shakes, you will remain steadfast, because your faith does not cling to what is fleeting but rests in the living one. When others lose their way, you will still know who you are because you have discovered to whom you belong. You are my child, engraved on the palms of my hands, covered by a love that never changes. No storm will ever make you forget that identity if each day you begin by seeking me. And my child, if you end your day with me, your sleep will no longer be a heavy time weighed down with countless worries. Instead, you will sink into rest within the arms of peace. You will not sleep merely out of exhaustion, but because you know there is a watcher who never slumbers, keeping guard over you through the night. You will lay down not because every problem has been solved, but because you trust that tomorrow is already in my hands. My child, when you end your day with me, you will not carry burdens into your dreams. You will learn to hand over to me every worry, every unanswered question, every fear that has yet to find an escape. I will take them, and in return I will grant you gentle rest. Like a father who lulls his child to sleep, I will sing over you a song of peace so that your heart may find rest, your soul may be healed, and your body may be restored. Picture this: a day that begins with me and ends with me. Does that not make a perfect circle? Each morning you step out from my presence with renewed strength and fresh clarity. Each evening you return to my presence to be refreshed and renewed. This is the rhythm of a blessed life where I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end of each day, of every breath. Do not think that you must wait until everything is calm before you can rest. The world teaches you that only when all is perfect can you be at peace. But I teach you that true peace does not depend on circumstances, but on the one in whom you place your trust. You can sleep in peace even while the storm rages outside, because you know that your captain has never left the helm. Beloved child, let me become the rhythm of your life, mornings that begin with me, evenings that close in me. Then you will see that each of your days is no longer drifting aimlessly, but filled with meaning. You will discover that you are not merely living to work, to struggle, or to survive, but to walk with me, the one who loves you with an everlasting love, the one who has never let you go, not for a single moment. My dear one, an abundant life is not shaped by fleeting bursts of excitement or extraordinary events, but by steady rhythms, by faithful steps taken each day with me. Do not think that my presence is found only in large gatherings where songs rise high and prayers resound loudly. I am the one who is ever present beside you, in the smallest moments, in every breath, in every step. And what I long for is that you learn to live within that unbroken rhythm, the rhythm of a heart turned toward me in the morning and resting in me as night falls. When you open your eyes to a new day, the world will rush in with its worries, responsibilities, and hurried pace. So many voices will compete for your attention: work, family, expectations, and even fear. But if in that very first moment you lift your gaze to me, you will shape the entire course of your day in heavenly light. A simple prayer, a whisper of gratitude, a thought turned toward the Creator. These alone are enough to change the direction of that day. When you place me at the beginning, everything else will find its rightful place. My child, do you know why I long for you to begin your day with me? It is because I know how easily human hearts are swept away. I know how fragile your mind can be when unexpected storms arise. I know how quickly your heart can be unsettled by what your eyes see and ears hear. Without me, you would only react out of emotion, hastily responding by instinct. But when you let me lead, you will learn how to respond instead of merely react. You will carry peace when others panic, wisdom when others are confused, and strength to stand firm when the storms break against you. A day begun with me does not guarantee that you will not face trials, but it assures you that you will not face them alone. You will walk with the certainty that the greatest one in the universe is walking beside you. When the world around you trembles in uncertainty about their identity, you will know who you truly are because you know whose you are. You are the beloved child, redeemed, justified by the blood of the Lamb. And in knowing this, you will not be shaken by accusations or rejection from the world. And when the day draws to a close, when the sunset fades and your body grows weary, I still wait for you. If you come to me before you sleep, you will find a peace that no one else can give. Your sleep will no longer be a collapse into exhaustion, but true rest within loving arms. You will learn to lay down every burden, every unanswered question, every unresolved worry. And while you sleep, I continue to work. While your eyes are closed, mine remain watchful. While you are powerless, I am still sovereign. My child, what greater blessing is there than knowing that tomorrow does not rest in your hands but in the hands of the living one? Imagine beginning your day with me and ending it in me. That is the perfect circle of spiritual life. Each morning you draw fresh strength from the inexhaustible source of life. Each evening you hand back your burdens to be restored and renewed. When you live within that circle, your entire life becomes an unceasing hymn of praise, a sacred rhythm that unites heaven and earth through you. My beloved, I do not call you into this rhythm as a harsh command, but as a tender invitation. I do not need your praise to be great, for I am already great. It is you who need my presence in order to live, to be strong, to be complete. When you step into this rhythm, you will realize you are no longer surviving under the fatigue of trying to endure, but thriving in the abundance of a life wrapped in grace. Remember, my child, I do not want you to come to me only in times of crisis. I do not desire for my word to become fast food you consume only when desperate for a quick solution. My word is the bread of life, the daily nourishment for your soul. If you seek me only when you are cornered, your soul will never have the strength to stand firm for long. But if you patiently take in my word each day, you will see your strength increase, your faith deepen, and your peace endure. My child, the rhythm I am calling you into is not only meant to transform your own life, but also to ripple outward to those around you. When you live in my presence, the light within you will shine for others. They will see your peace in the midst of the storm, and they will long to know the source of that peace. They will see you standing firm under pressure, and they will ask you what strength sustains you. In this way, your very life becomes a living testimony that there is one who always walks alongside and never abandons. Therefore, my beloved child, begin your day with me, and close your day with me as well. Do not let the world steal away the very first and the very last moments of your day, for these are the moments that shape the whole of life. Offer them to me, and you will witness a great transformation. Each morning will open with hope, each evening will close in peace, and your entire life will take on a sacred rhythm that beats in harmony with my heart. My dear child, the world will not cease to tell you that in order to rest, you must have everything under control. You must secure every provision, and you must resolve every problem before you can allow yourself to breathe freely. You will hear those urgent voices insisting that happiness will come only when you have more, when you achieve success, when you win the approval of others. But my child, all of this is nothing but a burden disguised as rest. It deceives you into believing you can seize peace by your own effort, yet in truth it only drives you deeper into the cycle of anxiety and weariness. True rest does not come from finishing all your tasks, nor from reaching a perfect state in life. True rest comes when you learn to entrust to trust and to place yourself in My arms, the one who never fails, who knows the future, and who always keeps his promises. When you surrender everything to me, you are set free from the chains of anxiety. When you know that I hold tomorrow, you will no longer be haunted by what has not yet come to pass. When you know that I provide for your whole life, you will stop striving to control what lies beyond your reach. My child, look back at the days you have struggled and fought on your own. How many times have you lain awake in the night turning over solutions when your strength was already spent? How many times have you clung to fear, believing that if you did not worry, everything would collapse? You have wearied your soul by carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. But I speak to you, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This rest is not like what the world gives, for it does not depend on what you can achieve. It rests on the faithfulness of the giver. Beloved child, when you end your day by coming to me, you no longer need to carry your worries into sleep. You can lay down every trouble, every unanswered question, every dream still unfinished. You can close your eyes in the confidence that I am still at work, even when you are powerless. You will not sleep in fear, but in the safety of my love. That sleep not only restores your body, but also heals your soul, renews your heart, and rekindles hope for tomorrow. My precious one, true rest in me is not an escape from reality. It does not make you lazy or careless with responsibility. On the contrary, it gives you new strength to face reality with greater courage. When you learn to rest in me, you step out with a clear mind, a light heart, and a brave spirit. You are no longer crushed beneath the weight of worry, but lifted by a peace that surpasses all understanding. That peace becomes a shield around your mind, guarding you from the arrows of fear and doubt. Imagine a child resting in the arms of their father. Though a fierce storm rages outside, the child sleeps peacefully because it knows its father is holding on tight. My dear child, I long for you to trust me in the same way. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to see the whole path ahead. You only need to know that I am here, and that alone is enough for you to rest. My child, I see how so many in this world search for rest in the wrong places. Some throw themselves into work to fill the emptiness, yet the harder they work, the more weary they become. Some chase after pleasures to forget their sorrow, but when the joy fades, the emptiness only grows deeper. Others seek comfort in relationships only to be disappointed when no one can fully understand or love them perfectly. All these ways only bring more exhaustion. My child, I do not want you to become like them. I have prepared for you a true place of rest where you can lay your burdens down and find your strength renewed. Do not wait until you are worn out to come to me. Do not wait until you have lost everything to seek rest in me. Come now while your heart is still troubled, while your load still feels heavy. Hand it over to me, and you will find relief. Believe that I am the one who cares for you, who never sleeps, who knows your needs even before you speak them. Step into this rest as if stepping into a room filled with light where every worry melts away in the arms of your loving Father. My beloved child, I promise you this, when you live in the rest I give, your life will be transformed. You will no longer be tossed about by sudden waves of emotion. You will no longer let fear dictate your choices. You will no longer chase after fleeting things in search of fulfillment. Instead, you will walk with a steady soul, a trusting heart, and a resilient spirit. Though storms may rise, you will stand firm. Though the world may fall into chaos, you will remain at peace. And this very peace will draw others to the source of life that you have found. My beloved child, I have silently witnessed countless souls begin their journey with a blazing passion, with eyes shining bright because of my grace. Yet after only a short while, that flame slowly withers away, leaving behind nothing but cold ashes. They begin with fierce longing, but stumble upon the quiet, persistent lures of temptation. They wish to walk in the light, yet they cannot let go of the shadows hidden deep within their hearts. There are those who once wept in my presence, who once lifted up words of praise in the stillness of night. But over time, the voice of the world crept in, whispering steady as a drizzle, until their hearts grew cold without them even realizing it. And so they believe they are still near me, when in truth they have long drifted far away. My child, there are souls who once stood among my people, hands lifted, high lips singing hymns, yet their hearts clung to other things: fame, wealth, fleshly desires, or simply the self that has never been surrendered. They imagine that keeping just a small measure of my presence is enough, as though I could be shared, as though I would accept only a fragment of their loyalty. But hear me clearly, I am not one among many choices. I am the one and only. I do not share my glory with idols. I do not sit upon a throne beside desire. I do not dwell within a double-hearted soul. Your spirit was not created to live a divided life. For if you choose to walk both with me and with the world, sooner or later you will be torn apart, pulled in opposite directions until you break. My beloved, this world will never cease whispering in your ear sweet words laced with poison. It will tell you that you can have it all, life in me, and fleeting pleasures besides. But that is a lie. I have seen many who walked before you believing they could remain close enough to me to be saved and close enough to the world to be satisfied. Yet they soon discovered that nothing could replace my presence. When their light dimmed, when their joy turned into weariness, they began to feel a hollow emptiness that nothing could fill. And so they sought me again, but by then they were already weary, carrying wounds and scars, bearing consequences not easily erased. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you in love. I do not want you to repeat the same broken paths. I do not want you to spend years wandering aimlessly, only to be left with nothing but sighs and regrets. Do not wait until your hair turns gray, your steps grow weary, and your heart becomes barren before you realize that the most precious treasure was once right beside you. Do not let the late tears of remorse be the only thing that remains in the chamber of your soul. Do not wait until you look around and see that everything you once clung to has shattered before you turn back to seek me. My child, I call you today while you are still alive, while you can still hear, while you still have the power to choose. Do not delay. Be awake. Choose me while you are still young, while you still have strength, while your heart still burns with zeal. Do not waste your youth on fleeting things only to return to me later with nothing but the ashes of faded dreams. I do not want the leftovers. I long for your whole heart while it is still whole. I will not reject those who repent late, but the blessing is far more complete when you choose me from the very beginning. For every day you live without me is a day your soul grows emptier. Every hour apart from me is an hour you walk in darkness, though the sun outside still shines. Every minute far from me is a minute your heart loses true life. You may live, but not abundantly. You may laugh, but not with real joy. You may have much, but never feel enough. Only in me will you find true rest for your soul, and only in me will you discover the deep meaning behind every breath you take. If today you choose me, if today you surrender your whole life to me, then your future will not be stained with regret, but will shine with the light of my presence. You will not have to turn back with bitterness, but will walk forward in steadfastness, for I am the one who goes before you, leading and protecting you. You will no longer live with if only, but will live in fullness, for every right choice you make today will build an eternal legacy for tomorrow. I have called you my beloved, not so that you might live as one lost between two worlds, but so that you may walk in clarity and holiness. I have not invited you to stand forever at the crossroads, but to decisively choose the way of life. And if you truly choose me, I will not only grant you a future, but also the assurance of eternal life. I will guide you through every storm, every doubt, every weariness, so that you may see walking with me is not a loss, but the gaining of all things. You will receive a peace the world cannot give, a joy that no circumstance can steal, and a place in my eternal design. Therefore, do not delay. Do not remain in uncertainty. Do not repeat the mistakes of those who wandered astray. Choose me today. Offer your whole heart. And you will see, once you walk in me, you will never have to turn back in regret, but will run forward with satisfaction, with a heart full of hope, and with hands that are not empty but overflowing with blessings from me. My beloved child, now is the time I invite you to step into a new chapter of your life, a distinct season, a moment set apart by my hand. This season is not like the ones before. It is not a season of fumbling or delay, nor a season of retreat or bondage to the old. This is a season of surrendering fully into my embrace, a time when you let me take the helm of your life, a stage in which you will learn not to cling in your own way, but to yield more deeply than ever before. My child, this is a season of healing and restoration. I am calling you out of the shadows of old wounds, out of the land of words that pierced your heart, and into a new land, a place where gentle light shines, where your soul can breathe, life no longer weighed down by the past. Do not let painful memories become chains that pull you back. The past has no hold over you when you have chosen me as your Lord. What is behind I will use to teach you, but it will no longer be the compass for your future. My beloved child, in this new season I do not need you to exhaust yourself trying to prove anything to me. I am not seeking a soul that strives in order to be loved. You have already been loved when you were still weak, when you had yet to understand your worth, even when you were still making mistakes. This new season does not begin with your effort, but with a decision to let me truly be your Lord. When you stop grasping for control and learn to let me lead, that is when you step into the gentle yet powerful current of true peace. I am planting new seeds within your heart. They are not seeds of anxiety or fear, but seeds of trust, hope, and vision. These seeds, if you nurture them with patience and faithfulness, will take deep root, sprout with strength, and in the right season bear good fruit. You do not need to worry about whether you are good enough, whether you are on time, or whether you can keep pace with others. I do not measure you by the world's clock. Your journey is not a copy of anyone else's. The plan I have for you has been carefully and uniquely woven with wisdom and love beyond your understanding. Do not look around and compare your path with the journey of those beside you. They may have already reached their destination, but you are walking on the road I myself have chosen for you. Every step you take, whether slow or strong, holds value in my eyes. What I seek from you is not speed, but faithfulness. Walk each day with a heart of trust, and you will see that I am working wonders behind the veil that you cannot yet see. I will never leave unfinished the work I have begun in you. My child, this new season will not be merely an outward change. It is a transformation from within. When you open your heart to welcome me into every decision, every habit, every word, and even the quietest moments, you will begin to sense a fresh current flowing through your life. My presence will no longer feel distant, but will become the very air you breathe, the refuge where you rest, and the unending joy amid a world of turbulence. You will taste the sweetness of a deep communion that is neither forced nor distant, but as intimate as a friend speaking to a dear friend. And you will see that the things which once filled you with fear will lose their power over you. What once confused you, I will turn into lessons of wisdom. What once stole your sleep, I will quiet with unshakable peace. For when I am both the beginning and the end, you can rest assured that everything in between is held securely in my hands. This new season does not promise the absence of trials, but I promise that you will never walk alone. I will be beside you, before you, behind you, and I will cover you with my presence. I will uphold you when your heart grows weak, encourage you when you feel like giving up, and remind you whenever you falter. I will whisper to you again and again, you belong to me, and I will never abandon what I have loved. So my child, do not hesitate to step into this new season, simply because you do not know what lies ahead. Do not let the fear of failure close the door to transformation. I am the one who holds the keys in my hand. When I open a door, no one can shut it. When I lead the way, no one can hinder it. What I begin, I will surely bring to completion. And the blessing prepared for you is not a distant dream, but something real, drawing near, ready and waiting just for the moment you say, Lord, I step in. If you choose to do this today, if you nod in response to this invitation, then your entire future will be changed. You will no longer be one who merely lives with memories, but one who walks in vision. You will no longer wander in the old land, but will dwell in the fullness of the Lord. And then when you look back, you will know I never forgot you. I never left your side. I have been waiting to give you this beautiful season, a season of complete surrender, a season of deep peace, a season of abundant life that never runs dry. My beloved child, If your heart is longing for a new beginning, a season of healing, of guidance, of renewal from within, this is the moment I have been waiting for you to enter. Do not delay. Do not let this opportunity of grace pass you by. The new season I have prepared for you does not begin with your own effort, but begins when you surrender. When you open your heart to me, it is I who will accomplish what you cannot. Therefore, my child, come in humility. Pray with sincerity. Even if you feel weak, even if you do not know what to say, I am listening. The simplest words spoken from a true heart can move heaven. Step with me into this sacred moment through the prayers below. Read each line, each word with your whole heart, and let me do the rest. Lord, who loves me more than I even understand myself today, I come before your throne of grace with a heart that no longer wants to hide anything. I have lived too long with parts of my heart that I have not truly yielded for you to reign over. But in this very moment I release control. I let go of my own will. I lay down what I once thought was right so that I may enter into a new season where you are at the center, where your will is what I seek each day. Teach me to live in complete surrender, without hesitation, without holding anything back. I choose to trust in you rather than lean on my own understanding. You are the one who sees my future, who knows the path I must walk. Therefore I say, Lord, here I am. Please lead me according to your good and perfect will. Father, there are wounds within me that no one else sees, scars that have quietly ached in my soul for many years, and I have learned to live with them as though they were part of who I am. But today, as I step into the new season, you are calling me into I no longer want to carry these old burdens. I lift up to you my hurts, my memories, the words that once wounded me, the losses that once broke me. Lay your healing hand upon every place of pain within me. Let your love be like oil poured gently into the cracks of my soul. I believe that no pain is too great for you to heal, no past too dark for you to shine upon. I open my heart and ask you to restore me, that I may walk lightly and freely in this new season of grace. Beloved Father, I do not want to step into this new season with empty hands. I open my heart like soil, ready to receive the good seeds from you. Please sow within me a fresh vision, a vision that comes from heaven, not from the pressures of life or the expectations of people. Grant me steadfast faith, unshakable hope, and a heart that loves unconditionally. If any seeds of doubt, bitterness, envy, or fear have ever taken root within me, I ask that you uproot them completely. I long for my life to be soil that bears fruit pleasing to you, not in scarcity, but in abundance, in due season, and in the right way. Plant in me what is new and fresh from above. Father, I know the journey of following you is not always smooth. There are days when I am strong and full of faith, but there are also days when my heart wanders and my zeal grows cold. I ask you to grant me faithfulness, not only in times of blessing, but also in seasons of trial. Help me not to give up when I do not see immediate results, nor grow weary when my prayers seem unanswered. Teach me to live daily in your presence, to walk faithfully each day, even when my eyes have not yet seen and my ears have not yet heard, yet my soul remains steadfast in your promise. I do not want to be someone who follows you only in the light, but also one who walks faithfully with you, even in the darkest night. Keep my faith burning bright until the day I see you face to face. Lord, today I step across the threshold of the new season. You are opening before me. I do not carry with me doubt, nor do I drag along the fears of the past. I carry only trust in you, the one who has promised and never breaks a promise. Though I may not know all that lies ahead, I still walk forward because I know that you go before me. I want to live fully in this season, a season of surrender, a season of sweetness in fellowship, a season of unshakable life. Let me see the fruits of faith, taste the sweetness of your presence, and know that it is your hand that sustains all things. From now until the end of the journey, I no longer live for myself, but to glorify your name. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may build a strong community of faith.